Thank you, Mr. Chairman. So the title of this hearing today is Identifying, Resolving, and Preventing Vulnerabilities in TSA Security Operations. That's a worthy title. It comes with a lot of responsibility. There's a lot of weight in that title. Overall, though, I must confess it is a bit concerning to me. I wonder, for example, if my Democrat friends would be concerned if at the TSA we had no security whatsoever and anyone was able to walk on a plane and we didn't know who they were, where they came from, what their intentions were. They're just able to go through TSA without any security check and get on the board. Of course, they would not want that because we all want aviation safety. And yet, that is exactly what's happening on our southern border right now. We have people coming across our border. We don't know who they are. We don't know what their intentions are. We don't know what their plans are. But we do know that there have been thousands of crimes committed, including murder and rape and a host of other things. We know there have been tons of drugs coming across our southern border, and yet we have little to no security there whatsoever. I was there myself just a few weeks ago and was stunned that what's happening in our southern border is happening on our border. It's inexcusable to me that what's happening in our southern border is taking place here in the United States, where people are just freely coming across here, contraband freely coming across our border, criminals freely coming across our border. And here, why are we not having a hearing today on identifying, resolving, and preventing vulnerabilities within our southern border security operations? And yet the concern is aviation, because we all fly. We want to be safe in the air. But does that mean we don't want to be safe in our country? Mr. Pekoski, would you agree with me that being so concerned about airport security but not being concerned about security on our southern border just does not add up?
So I think we need to be concerned with both. And like you, I was just down in the southern border about 4 weeks ago, saw the situation there. It is dire and it is a crisis, and we do need to place focus on it. The chairman mentioned in his opening remarks the assignment of TSA volunteers to the southern border, as are other components of DHS providing volunteers. This is a crisis, and we need to address that crisis. This is a high risk for us as a nation. Border security is national security, and we need to get at this and get at this in a serious way. What we're doing right now is really addressing what's right in front of us, but as we all know in this room, we do need to address the overall immigration law system entirely to be able to have better management and better control of our borders. And so I completely agree with both being critically important. Final thing I'd say, sir, is that, and I think it's important to put in context, I will say, and I've traveled all around the world, and I think I've got the expertise now to say this, the United States has the most sophisticated and the most advanced aviation security system in the world, bar none. Within the context of our legal structure and within the context of our great American culture. The other thing to keep in mind is that we are one of the only security systems that does covert testing, because we want to know where those vulnerabilities are. We want to know where they are before our adversary does, and we want to the chairman's point, to the ranking member's point, we want to close them as quickly as we can, and that's what I pledge to focus on.
Well, thank you, and we need that same security advancement and the best in the world at our border. How many TSOs are currently at the border? Do you know?
So we have under 88. We have 88. We have under 100 TSOs deployed to the southern border. These are all volunteers, and whenever we decide that a volunteer is able to deploy, we take a very careful look at the airport from which he or she is deploying to make sure that we can mitigate the risks at that airport and also manage throughput for all the passengers going through. This is a very busy travel season. In fact, we had the busiest travel day ever in Coast Guard history on the Friday of Memorial Day weekend. So we're very cognizant of that. But again, I have to balance off the risk at the southern border with the need to keep airports staffed. And the other thing to keep in mind—
Well, is those 88, is that going to significantly decrease aviation security?
No, sir. It will have no effect on aviation security, none whatsoever. We have baselines of aviation security that we do not go below. And that's been my guidance since the first day I came into this position.
Thank you very much. I yield back.
Thank you, Mr. Maloney.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, for